Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hall Pass to History. I'm Adrian Lancaster, a junior at Indian River High School, and I am excited to share a little bit about the history of my school. The Indian River High School community nurtures, develops, and challenges all Braves by inspiring academic excellence, modeling responsible citizenship, and embracing our diverse community. That mission echoes in classrooms, on fields, stage, and throughout hallways every day as we rise together. The original Indian River High School, which opened in 1967, was located on Old Greenbrier Road. The current single-story facility opened in the winter of 1972 on Dumbarton Road. The 185 members of the class of 1969 set many of our beloved Indian River traditions in motion by establishing the school colors we celebrate today, and a mother of the class in 1969 also wrote our school's alma mater. Indian River has also been home to many of the notable alumni. Basketball legend Alonzo Mourning, NASCAR driver Ricky Rudd, and Saturday Night Live regular Jay Farrell are all Indian River Braves. Being involved outside the classroom is what makes Indian River High School special. I thrive from being involved in clubs and activities. Not only that, I have my own special connection to Indian River history. My father, Jeremy Lancaster, graduated from Indian River High School. He was a member of the 1995 state championship football team, and he wears his championship ring with pride. 30 years after my father was crowned a state champion, I became a state champion. I compete on the Indian River High School speech team as a dramatic interpreter. I achieved the trifecta in my first year within the club, earning the first in the region, first in the super region, and first in the state. There aren't too many people who can say they have that distinction of carrying on a state championship winning legacy, and it makes both me and my father proud. So grab your hall pass and let's walk these halls together. This is Hall Pass to History, and this is Indian River High School.
Hi, everyone. Listeners, we're thrilled to have you back in 2026 to Amplified. Today is another Hall Pass to History episode with our friends from Indian River High School. We've got Mr. Jimmy Fry and Mrs. Naomi Dunbar here with us. And Ms. Dunbar, what a special introduction.
Absolutely. Adrian is a phenomenal student. He's an 11th grade student at Indian River and state champion for forensics, for dramatic interpretation. He's doing a great job. Wants to continue that path one day at a 4-year college in mass communication and a minor in theater. He's really good.
Very nice. I can tell how proud you are. And we're thrilled to have Adrian with us. Matt, take it away.
Let's take a moment to get our listeners to know a little bit more about y'all. Can you take a moment and share a little bit about yourself, maybe your background, your connection with Chesapeake Public Schools, and what led you into that leadership position at Indian River High?
Well, believe it or not, I did not start out as an educator. I am a career switcher. I have an electronics engineering degree from Norfolk State University, so I did that for a couple of years and decided after working this was not my career path. Went back to school, got my master's in education, and a few hours I had to take for certification because I was engineer major, so I had all the maths. Of course, I taught math. At Western Branch Middle for 9 years, I was an early commitment hire, so I started mid-year. And then after 9 years of being at Western Branch Middle, I became an AP at Indian River Middle. And I did that for 6 years before becoming principal. 9 years there, and now 12 years at Indian River High School. So this is my 21st year as principal, and all in the Indian River community, which I love. And I think it's ironic, I need to say this piece. This is my 27th year in the Indian River community, and Mr. Fry served 27 years at Indian River High School. So how ironic that we've been in the community for 27 years individually.
What a perfect segue.
Wow,
Naomi, you
All
should be
right.
sitting in my seat. That was perfect. Mr. Fry, what about you? Tell us about your journey.
Well, I took a little detour after college. My major in college was history. But prior to coming into education, I was commissioned into the United States Army as a military police officer, lieutenant. I had the pleasure of being a military police platoon leader. Once I finished my military service, I did a smart thing and got married first. And then I started teaching at Great Bridge Junior High School. I did 3 years at Great Bridge Junior High School and was blessed enough to get an internship at University of Virginia. And so I did that. And once I did that, I became assistant principal at Crestwood Junior High School. Did a couple of years there. Then I went to Truett Junior High School as assistant principal. Then I got my first principalship. But what I left out was the fact that prior to all of that, I was blessed to serve at Indian River High School as an assistant principal of summer school. And I also served, I think like in 81, as principal of summer school. And I got my first real taste of principalship. And I finally found a place that I could stay after I left Western Branch Junior High School. And I found home at Indian River High School, where I stayed 27 years.
And you were my assistant principal when I was there.
Are you serious?
I did for 1 year, Mr. Fry. It was for 1 year. I remember that well now, before Dr. Stooks, Debbie Stooks, came. Yeah,
What
so
a
we
cool
worked
connection.
together.
What a cool connection. Mr. Fry sort of highlighted a moment in his career as that summer school assistant principal where he felt that spark for leadership. Ms. Dunbar, was there a moment for you where you felt a spark for leadership that called you into the role you're in now?
I think it was maybe not my spark initially, but it was Linda Scott, Dr. Linda Scott.
Mm-hmm.
She was my principal for 6 years. And she was the one that said to me one day, Naomi, you can do this. I see your future in the role of a leader here. And the year that I became principal, she did the planning year at Oscar Smith Middle, the new Oscar Smith Middle School. And it was very bittersweet that she left, but she passed the torch to me to carry on at Indian River Middle. So she was the first person that saw that leadership in me, and I enjoyed working for her the 6 years. But I want to say that 5th to 6th year of being an AP under her leadership, I started feeling that little sense of urge, but I really needed her to give me that confirmation that this is where my path needed to go.
Like she just said, it's also getting the opportunities. Mm-hmm. My first teaching job at Grips Junior High School, the principal there, Herb Ruffin, told me, he said, man, when you enter school year, we having a conversation. He said, if you had your credentials, I would hire you as my assistant principal. And so that led me along that way. And then, of course, there was Dr. Bateman, who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So again, just like with her, it's not so much the spark, it's being put in positions with the right opportunities to have that chance.
Right. And then the people believing in you, it really makes you believe
that
in
investment
yourself.
and that mentorship.
Right.
So important. Yeah.
Now, this is your 12th year at Indian River.
Yes.
And you were 27 years as the principal.
Yes.
There's been obviously some changes during those years. What are some of the changes that you have seen that you don't mind sharing with the community that you can attest to?
Well, first thing I want to say that I see that's really, really changed is technology aspect.
Sure.
I have a grandson who's a 6th grader at Greenbrier Middle School. And when he brings home his Chromebook every day, second thing I saw really is school size. When I started at Indian River, we were a happy 10 through 12 school. Then when middle school came, we went 9, 12. And what I saw with that was the change in the school size. The school size makes a difference. We went from like 1,200 to like about 1,700, 1,800 kids. So those types of things I saw. And also the other thing I must say is security. Man, one of the best things that I ever saw happen to us was to get those cameras. Oh, my God. Mm-hmm. You could do so much within the building as well as on your perimeter with those are the types of things that strike me right now.
Right.
Let's peek into the classroom environment for a minute. Mr. Fry, when you're making rounds in your day, what was the classroom like?
I think in the early stages, it was pretty traditional. I think it was more lecture. But as the years evolved, it became a whole lot more interactive. And I believe in that. I believe that we have to make education appealing and fun. And so those are some of the things that we try to get to get the kids involved. I think I've always believed that an involved student is a motivated student, and the student is going to learn more by doing that. So I did watch it evolve somewhat because, like I said, when I first got started, it really was, open the book to page 65 and answer these questions.
Yes, sir.
But it did evolve to be a whole lot more hands-on, and it also became much more technologically savvy. So all of that helped change some things for us too.
And Ms. Dunbar, you guys are taking that to the next level these days.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I agree. And I remember saying, I taught at Western Branch Middle and coming to Indian River Middle in 1999. That's how long ago it was. And seeing what those teachers had, what I would say, their toolbox to get the students at Indian River to understand the content, they had to bring that engagement. And so I did see the shift from where I was a math teacher, so I couldn't give the lectures, but I did see other teachers when I first started teaching. It was definitely, when I was a student, more lecture, but it quickly evolved when I came to the Indian River community, where I saw the engagement. I saw the multiple exposures, the teachers, what they had to do. And I'd say, I would put my teachers up against any school because they had to have a plethora of instructional strategies to help our students understand the information.
That's why I love this lady. But no, because what she just said was key to me. I would always say, too, that I would put the staff at Indian River community up against any staff anywhere. And so I'm glad you see that also, because they really, really brought so much extra to the table for us.
Right. And when I interviewed teachers to come to Indian River, I look for that relationships are important. And I think now it's to trusting relationships. Students have to believe not only that you believe in them and that significant learning for that to take place, but they also have to know, again, that you believe that, Mr. Fry, you can do this work. So the students have to know that. They have to know that to even want to succeed. Right. And so I spend a lot of time when I interview teachers, because there's a certain type of teacher I'm looking for, that caring, but also the teacher who has the knowledge, but again, someone that's dedicated to help kids reach that level.
The total package.
Yeah.
The total package. Just like that.
Now, there's a lot of tradition with Indian River High. The motto is, braves are who we are, rise is what we do. What does that mean to you? Yes. And what are some of your favorite Indian River High School traditions?
Yes. And I need to add, so that came about, that motto, with the PBIS. So it wasn't in place when Mr. Fry came. However, with us being together for so many years, they always said, once a brave, always a brave. Now, other schools say that, but it started at Indian River. And also the other piece is that the river rises. So I would say that when I was at the middle school. So we've had that. But I will say when we've had the motto now, I think for 8 years with PBIS. Yeah. And it's well known throughout the community and the district now. But for me, in my graduation speech last year, I talked about there's a twofold meaning. Of course, rise, which means, you want our students to be responsible, involved, and you talked about that, Mr. Fry, safe and ethical. The twofold meaning is still the rise, that I believe students at Indian River High can rise above all expectations. And we challenge our students all the time, not just academically, inside and outside of the classroom. I think that's important to have well-rounded students. But we talk about, and again, part of my graduation speech last year, and I had a student come to me after graduation. He was like, wow, Mrs. Dunbar, you really made me think about, I've heard rise my entire high school career, but the fact that we're going to rise in every aspect of our lives, and we may fall short, we may fall down, but we're going to get back up and we're going to rise again. So that made me feel so good right after graduation. Yeah. And just this week, just right now, that's why I was just barely getting here on time, I'm meeting with my seniors, with all of my counselors for an hour. I have all 7 scheduled this week, meeting with students that are at risk right now of not potentially graduating, and talking to them about what they can do, how you can get across the stage, how you're going to rise, or you're going to walk across that stage, and this is how you're going to do it. So giving them the tools right now, not in May when we're all sweating, but talking to them right now. So that is really important. And when they hear it every day on the announcements, it's a thread throughout the building now.
And I love it, because to me, it unified those students. And I still go to games and stuff. And
every game. I love seeing him for every football game.
Has solidified. The kids believe in that, and they try to make her proud and happy. And I think that when you put that out there, it can unify you, but you got to push it. Sometimes to start out, you got to push it. Mm-hmm. But it can be achieved for this betterment of the entire school and school community, I think.
Right. Now, is there a tradition that you remember from back in the day when you were there that you really loved?
Some of the things that we did. We had a tradition in the river that we call super class. And when I first got there, I didn't have a clue what it was. It was a competition between sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And we normally did that near the end of the school year. And I came to love it because I knew when we did, there was about 3 days left in school. And I was almost done. But and then the other things that she probably still do, like we did our pep rallies in our commons area, and we did bonfires and things of that nature. One thing that she started that I love, because I've had a chance to attend, is the homecoming parade. And I've gone and helped judge the floats and things of that nature. So
Really cool.
those are type things that the kids in the community look forward to. I had one of the guys who I grew up with who kids, and he loved it. He said, "Man, that's a wonderful thing." So
It's cool to see some of those things like homecoming parades are carrying through.
yeah.
And that, Mr. Fry, it's so great to know that you still keep close tabs on Indian River High School and you're still involved in the school that has helped make you who you are and you've made the community what they are. So I love that you're still involved so closely.
Well, I think a lot of that is attributable to the fact that Miss Dunbar has made it extremely welcoming for me. I need to say
Absolutely.
that. She even went so far as to give me, as I've gotten older, I wear hearing aids, and my hearing has affected my balance in some ways. And so I used to go up to the top in the stands. Now I don't like going up quite as high. So she made accommodations for me in the end zone.
bench.
In the end zone. I got my own little section.
Yes.
And so I do appreciate that. So she really has been very accommodating to me. And I've tried to be inobtrusive, but she's been so kind to me. And I need to say that I get emotional when I say this, is that this lady had a part in my family in that my wife taught for her. She also hired my daughter as a guidance counselor in the River Middle School. And so those types of things go a long way with me. I never forget that. But this lady is very special to me. And I think that the Indian River community is extremely blessed to have a person of her caliber leading it. I mean that.
And I need to add that my first theme coming to Indian River High School 12 years ago was looking to the future, but grateful for the past. And what I did was I wanted to honor Mr. Fry. That was my first theme. And so my yearbook that year had our pictures on it together. And everything we did, my T-shirt that year had Mr. Fry and myself on it. And that was the future. And it was very intentional. And I talked to my staff about why I chose it. I had a dream one night that summer. I started July 1st, and it was around mid-July. I was like, I don't know what theme I'm going to. And it was so clear that this is what I want to do. And then 4 years into my role at Indian River High School, we were able to, it took me 4 years, but it was year 4 when we named the stadium. And that was a great day. So it's the James L. Fry Football Stadium. So
I was going to ask about that. Obviously, the naming of the stadium is a huge milestone and a great memorial to you and your career at Indian River. But is there something that you reflect on that you're especially proud of in your 27 years at Indian River?
First thing was I'd like to thank her again for that honor, because it was almost a surprise to me. However, I was at a restaurant having breakfast one morning. Waitress came back. She said, "Aren't you Mr. Fry?" I said, "Well, yes." She said, "We're going to name the stadium after you."
Did you just find out about that, Ms. Dunbar?
Yeah.
First time.
And so, but there are a couple things. First thing was very proud of the fact that we were able to, I mentioned the school size. We were able to go from 10-12 to 9-12, which meant we went from 1,200 to like 1,700 kids. The second thing I'm very proud of is the fact that we were able to hang in there to get the school modernized. It's a beautiful facility now. It really, I love it. And they have done a wonderful job of maintaining it. I made an agreement with Mr. Tom Mercer that I would stay until it was done. And so it's beautiful. I'm very proud of that.
So
It is. It's a jewel in the city, isn't it?
Right. I came 1 year after the renovation was complete. So all the walls were white. There, you couldn't paint or do anything in the building. So I was able to put the murals up when Mr. Fry left. So that was the agreement, I guess, with the contractor. I was like, these are all white walls in here. Nothing is on the wall.
In my office?
Everywhere in the whole building.
Oh,
we couldn't.
No, we couldn't hang. You're right.
Right,
We couldn't hang for a while. We couldn't for a while.
Yeah, 1 year.
It
So
was all
I
white.
actually stepped into your office one year after and was able to put all the murals and everything
Oh,
up.
gosh.
There's definitely a lot of love and a lot of solidarity with Indian River in your community. You can see it right here. Is there a story that comes to mind that captures the heart of your school community?
I have a couple. First one, and my second year at Indian River High School, my head custodian, Mr. Robert Moore, who's deceased now, house burned down. And we had a Christmas assembly. My students and staff raised funds, and we presented it to Mr. Moore during the assembly. I never forget the sense of pride that I felt because I knew then that I was with a family. And also it was important for me because a lot of times you always wonder if students realize the roles that the various people both on the school staff play. Mm-hmm. It's always been my opinion that it takes everybody in that building to run that school, the custodians, the cafeteria workers, the teachers, assistants, the bus drivers. All of them were important. It made me feel good to see that my students and staff realized that. And that was when I knew, okay, this fits me. And the second thing was when I had two of my students and their father get killed while they were traveling to Carolina for a graduation. And I never forget how the community and staff came together to support that family. And I think those are the types of things that really stick with me because, again, I'm very big on the togetherness and family and this type of thing. And I think that Indian River traditionally has been a family. One more story. This past school year, I went to a football game at Western Branch. So two ladies approached me. Didn't know them, but they knew who I was. One was a security guard and one was a teacher, I think. Mm-hmm. And they just started to say, we love Indian River. It's such a family. And I think I mentioned that to her. That made me feel good to see that it's still there and it's still tight.
And I would piggyback on what you just said about the family environment. So when I talk to my staff and new teachers come in, I always meet with them the summer before. We have a one-on-one meeting. I talk to them about the family environment. I hear families, I hear people come in all the time and they say, there's a different feel in this building. And I've said to my staff, and I say it every year, Mr. Fry created the family environment here. I've just tried to maintain it. So when I meet with my staff, I'm meeting now with everyone that came in new to the building. I meet with second semester at the beginning, and I'll say, I met with you coming in. How do you feel now? Do you still feel the way and they'll always say, Ms. Dunbar, you're exactly correct. Everyone is very helpful. I feel that environment that you said was going to happen when I got here. It's been exactly the expectation when I got here. And I'd also like to add that the staff and community will always come together. We've certainly helped students and staff with their hardships. We don't even put a name out sometimes, and they will give just to support another brave. So that's still there, Mr. Fry. So I do feel like, and I say that every year to the staff as a whole, that this is a family and that this environment I felt when I was at the middle school, but I also felt when I got there after you had been there so long, and I've tried to maintain that family environment.
I tell you, culture is such a great legacy for the both of you. Mr. Fry, it's something that you've been able to cultivate and develop, and Ms. Dunbar, something that you've been able to amplify and continue to build upon. What a great legacy for the school and for the community. We're going to wrap up with one more question, and it's the question that we ask of all of our Hall Pass to History guests. Matt, why don't you ask them that last question?
What makes Indian River High School so special?
Well, one of the things I know makes it special is the fact that Indian River has had continuity. Do you realize that I think it's 5 or 6 years that they've had 3 principals in that whole time? Also, we've been blessed to be able to hire neither she nor I or anything without a strong staff behind us. We've had that. The community support that supports her, that supported me, makes it all special. I needed to say that. It was so special to me that I can testify that's a great school because both of my son and my daughter were educated there. Miss Dunbar has had a son that's finished there. And because of that, I can tell, yes, it's a wonderful place.
It is.
Got a wonderful education. And I tell people that all the time because my son and my daughter they had a crazy principal being me. but they got a wonderful education. It's still a special place to me.
And I agree. Yeah, my son graduated last year with the 4.13 with 21 credits going into college, and he's doing fantastic. He loved Indian River, and I do too. And that is a testament. If your own child can go to the school where you work and you trust the teachers to teach your children, then you know it's the best place. Go ahead.
And that was one of the reasons why, honestly, my wife and I, my wife, by the way, did 40 years in the River community. She started in 1971 at Indian River Junior High School. And in 2011, she retired from Indian River Middle School. And so we chose it for a reason, because we liked what we saw. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's a very important place that I love. And I'm just glad to be able to testify that it is in good hands still.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Fry. And I love the community. I tell my staff, I said, I live in Western Branch. I could have asked for a transfer after all these years, but I choose to drive across the high rise, which is better now with the Easy Pass and everything. But for a lot of years, it took a long time to get to work. But I chose to be there because it's a special feeling there. It's a special commitment that staffs and students have to make. And I always tell everyone that come there, even last night, Mr. Cohen, who's the guidance director, has been there 32 years. And I say it as well. We both say it. It's the best kept secret in Chesapeake.
Matt, I have learned so much about Indian River High School today and the important legacy that Mr. Fry leaves and that Ms. Dunbar carries on.
Absolutely. And thank you all so much for coming in. This has been a great conversation, and I enjoyed our Hall Pass to History.
Yeah. Join us next time on Amplified.
That wasn't so bad.
We hope you enjoyed the stories behind our story on this episode of Amplified, the Chesapeake Public Schools podcast. Connect with us at cpschools.com/amplified, and be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts.